It is my honor as the Director of Athletics here at HAR-BER High School and the Springdale Public School District to talk about a new and bright future for HAR-BER volleyball. Now, let me give you a different perspective. I have been where you're all sitting as a parent. I am a retired volleyball dad. I had both daughters play volleyball down south. I had a daughter who was about one set away from being the MVP in the state championship tournament. So I have been where you're sitting. And so I know that what we have done here and what we are doing is important to all of you. It's important to all of you. You are here because you have a passion for the game of volleyball. And that's why we're here tonight. We're going to spend some time visiting with how we're going to create our future. When I began this process of a new coach at HAR-BER, when Coach Jones said, you know, Stellick, I think I'm about ready to retire. Let's start talking about the future. Well, as an athletic director, I have a short list for lots of different things. Football coaches, basketball coaches, track, cross-country, tennis. I do not hire a coach. I would not send forward a coach to Dr. Rollins unless I have seen them coach. And so as a parent and as an athletic director, I've seen lots of coaches in the area coach. And there's one program that has always caught my eye that I've always enjoyed watching as a volleyball purist. I've enjoyed watching Fort Smith Southside volleyball because they play so hard all the time. They play till the whistle blows, they play till the ball hits the floor, they play hard for 5 sets, 3 sets, 4 sets. They play hard till the whistle blows. And so when I began looking at coaches and opportunities to help create the future for HAR-BER, a couple of coaches came to mind that I had seen play. Gosh, you know, when I watched that team play, they played till the whistle blows. It's kind of like when we hired Coach Bolin from Greene County Tech for HAR-BER basketball. I'd seen him win 2 state championships. I got him coach, and these kids play hard until the whistle blows. And so when it came back to volleyball, a couple of coaches really caught my eye, Dr. Brackett and Coach Wood. And we'd seen them. We'd seen how these kids played hard. They got after it. They won the close games. They won those 5-setters, 15-13. They had that mental toughness that they won the close games. I'd also seen, I didn't know on the front end, now you're farm boy here, I didn't know for a year or so that this junior high coach was the same as a high school coach. The light bulb finally went on. It just reinforced what I had seen. That this coach can take junior high, high school kids as far as they want to go. I believe that this coach we've hired here, and globally speaking, the 2 coaches that we as a district have hired, we're going to take our city volleyball to heights we've not been before. But you're most concerned tonight with HAR-BER volleyball. Please welcome Coach Shira Schishler.
All right, before we get started, I'll introduce myself, tell you a little bit about myself, and then we're going to get down to business. First of all, my name is Shira Schishler. I am from Missouri, just north of Springdale. So if any of you are from Missouri or been to Missouri, it's like another country when you come to Arkansas. And for the past 3 years, I've been at Shiloh Christian. Absolutely loved it there. And about semester time came around, and my heart had a big change. Wasn't sure if I was going to coach again. Wasn't sure what I was going to do. Was I going to coach in college? I've been talking to college coaches about coaching. And I had just been approached with this position, and my heart completely changed. And I had just such a passion to be at HAR-BER. And so then it was like one of those things like, I have to be here. Like, what do I do to get here? And so I've been very blessed with administration and with staff here at HAR-BER and in the Springdale district to be here. So first of all, thank you very much for welcoming me. Played college volleyball at Southwest Baptist University, which is in Missouri, in Bolivar, Missouri. I played libero there for 4 years. Started as a freshman for 4 years. I was all conference. I still hold keeping my fingers crossed till this year. It was very close. I still hold the single season dig record. So it was very close this year. We brought in a really great libero as a freshman, so she did a great job. So that's a little bit I play. I played club volleyball for Springfield Juniors for 6 years. So if you've ever played any club volleyball, you may have heard of Springfield Juniors. It was very, very competitive area. And volleyball in Missouri is a big deal. And so when I moved to Arkansas, I knew that I was my goal was to vamp up volleyball in this area. And so when I got the HAR-BER job, my heart just exploded with passion and joy. And I'm just going to hopefully show you that tonight, tell you how we're going to run our program. Tonight is a completely different night to how we've done things in the past. So nothing against anything that has been done, but everything is going to be new. It's going to be vamped up. And so I think you'll be excited about that. So first of all, go ahead, thanks, Kelly. You guys probably know Kelly. I call her Coach Kelly because I can barely say her last name. She's really like me. Coach Schischler is really hard too. I blame my husband for that. I mean, Shira Schischler sounds like a fake name, but that is my real name. And you'll see my husband, he's around a lot. He's a big sports guy. He'll be at a lot of volleyball games supporting you guys. And so that's one big thing about our passion is Coach Kelly and I, we've become really close and been great friends. And that's what we're going to do is do our very best to coach your daughter. And then I like to introduce people that are part of our support staff and that you're gonna see them a lot. I know you've probably seen them. It's Coach Clark here, and she's the coach at Central. And then Coach Coons, the coach at Southwest. And both of these ladies, I've had the privilege to coach against and get to know them over the past few years, and I couldn't have been more excited to get to work with them. And I hope that they understand that this is just going to vamp up our program for HAR-BER. Our junior high kids will be excited to go to high school to play volleyball. And they will know what's expected as well. And so that's one thing that I really hope that we will see tonight and go through everything. First things first, all-in mentality. I'm going to talk about my philosophy first, so many of you probably do not know me. I have been at Shiloh Christian for the past 3 years. Before that, I was at a school, a 4A school in Missouri called Monette, Missouri. We were not very good. So I'll tell you that. We had to work from the ground up, and in 2 years we became second in conference. We had our first all-state player, and we had the first drive time over 500 in over 10 years. So volleyball is my passion. I'm going to push us to get to the next level very quickly. So all-in mentality, and this is kind of the thing I need everyone to buy in tonight. So after tonight, if you say, hey, I can't be a part of that, and I can't do that, then it's best that you don't be a part of the program. And so I hope that we don't have that. But here's kind of how it goes. Coaches, parents, and players are representing a new era of HAR-BER volleyball. Our standards are different. We will set ourselves apart, and we will act in one accord. We are a family. And kind of like what Coach said earlier, we are a family now. You may not like somebody. There are girls that are not going to get along. You may not like me some days, but we are a family. And I think that's one thing that sets ourselves apart in the 7A is to be successful, your family has to be in one accord. Your team, your parents, your kids, and your coaches have to be in one accord. There are going to be things Coach Kelly and I do not like. She may not like that I do, and I may not like that she does. But man, we're gonna be together in one accord, and we'll work about that after practice or after a game. We are in one accord. Players, same kind of thing. You may have an issue with a player. I know how girls are. We all get along one day, and we all don't get along the next day. I'm a girl. I understand. Okay, but our mentality is going to be in one accord this year. So if you open up your packets, and I have my philosophy, I'm going to just read over it real quickly. It's very, very, very important. I know this is a lot of paperwork, but I wanted to give it to you tonight, not to overwhelm you, but to you to understand. First of all, I'm not going to read the very top part. You can read that on your own. But I kind of have about 4 or 5 standards here that my philosophy kind of goes over. First of all is being a role model. My job as a coach is to motivate and to coach and teach your kids the very best that I can do. And so basically, we will be representing HAR-BER in the best way. You know, I see this attitude in this area, you know, there's the Bentonvilles, and there's the Fayettevilles, and the South Sides, and the North Sides, and the girls heard me say this 10 times. I don't really care. Like, they don't scare me. And that's the mentality that we need to have. We need to be HAR-BER. So when we go into schools, hey, we're HAR-BER. We're not just some school not ready to play volleyball. And so our mentality is going to change. I expect my athletes to be positive role models to each student in class, the opponents that they face on the court, and everyone coming into contact with the community. Whether we win or lose, we will do things the right way. Motivation. I'm a pretty energetic person. If the girls haven't told you, I love what I do. I'm very passionate about what I do, but being motivated is a big part of that. We will bring energy with a positive attitude every day. We will stand as this policy as a whole. We'll set goals and communicate with a purpose. And basically kind of going on in there, the harder you work, the harder it is to surrender. When you're going through tough drills, when you're going through tough times in the game or in practices, when you're motivated to do something, you will finish the correct way. Dedication. I'll give you 100% every day. I'm devoted to bettering you as a player individually. That's my job. And then I think it's really, really important to teach kids at this age strong work ethic. I did not get to where I am by being lazy and by not working hard. And so I think it's really important that kids take what they learn in volleyball and also apply it to the real world once they graduate high school. They may not play volleyball in college or play volleyball on the national team, but what you learn and the skills that you learn in volleyball you will use in the real world. Pride and perseverance. It's hard to understand the true meaning of pride until one pushes themselves to overcome obstacles. I saw that this week already with your girls. You know, I've been pushing them pretty hard just to how to get back in shape, understand how I do things. And one thing is I have not seen a kid give up. And when you persevere, you're going to win. I always try to think of a game-like situation to what we're doing in practice, whether it's finishing up our ab workout like we did today. You know, it's the same kind of concept. If we don't finish, we're not going to finish the game. And so the same kind of things correlate together. Once you start learning how to do that, you build a sense of pride in yourself. And you build a team pride as well. And so I think that's just a very great thing to have, is the self-respect and the feeling of satisfaction along that journey. And then last, teamwork and commitment. We are a family, and that's the most important thing there. And then going down to the discipline of today or the pain and regret of tomorrow. And I think that's really, really important. The discipline of today or the pain and regret of tomorrow. This is just a little feedback, and I change things, you know, as I've coached and done different things. It says, this is a really important thing. If you've ever read the top 10 things every parent of an athlete should know, if you guys seen that, that's like on Facebook, and it's always trending on different things. It says, never talk to your coach about your child's playing time after a game. Actually, you never should. Never yell at coaches and referees. Do not coach your kid from the sideline. It's extremely unlikely you're raising professional athletes. I promise you, relax, let them have a good time. You know, I hope every one of my girls will play college volleyball. That would be awesome. But if they don't, I want them to also really, really enjoy playing volleyball and not feel the pressure that they cannot succeed. And then if you're losing your mind on the sideline, it's good to look up in the mirror and figure out why. It's normal to care about a sport. Put the energy in something productive. Let your kids fail sometimes. Sometimes that's the best way to learn lessons. Forget forgotten equipment, not working out, not practicing at home. Let them suffer the consequences. I will do my job. You will know, Coach and I, we have your kids' best interest. That's what we want from each one of you. And then expectations and team rules. You'll go on to the next thing there, and it's expectations and team rules. This is really, really important. I hate having a ton of rules, but I have 8 expectations that I feel are really, really, really important. And it says volleyball expectations, and it says KBWC. I've used this everywhere I've coached at. I used this in college. I used this when I was in high school. This was my theme, and it's kick butt with class. And I think that's a great way to play volleyball. First of all, we'll talk about the importance of being on time. And this is where I'll probably spend most of my time talking tonight. If you are early, you are on time. If you're on time, you're late. Every minute you are late from practice, games, etc., you'll run a belly up. If you have something that will make you late, you need to communicate that to me. No players miss more than 2 practices in season that are unexcused. If you miss for any reason before a game, you will not start or you may not play in that game. Excused absences, of course, are funerals, things like that. Please avoid making appointments during practice times. Please don't waste your teammates or your coach's time. Attendance is crucial. And basically, I will not tolerate dishonesty. So, for instance, if a kid says, hey, I gotta go take a test, make it up, if you're not being honest with me, I will find out. And that's kind of one of those things. I will find out from the teacher. Be honest with me, be honest with your teammates. The importance of communication. You must communicate directly to both coaches about being late to an event or if a question or concern. It is the player's job to do so. No text, no messages from other players, etc. Please call and speak with the coach or leave a voicemail. Please also respect your coach's personal time. I may not answer emails or phone calls after school hours. Please respect our family time. Communication between players must be positive and constructive. And let's talk about communication. One thing here that's really, really important to me is that your kid or your child or you as a player comes to speak to me as a coach about playing time, about a concern they may have, about how to get better. And the reason I think that is so important at this age is that when you get in the real world, your parents cannot call and send an email, hey, so-and-so can't be at practice today, or they can't come to work today. That's not how the real world works. Most of you probably know that. And I think it's really important that we start doing those things, teaching that now instead of later. And I also think it builds team camaraderie. Parents, your job is to be parents. Kids, your job is to be an athlete, and that's the part of the rules. The importance of problem solving is the athlete's responsibility to speak to their coaches about an athletic-related problem. Parents are not allowed to approach coaches after a game, practice, or school function. Now let me explain this, and I'm not trying to be the meanest person that you ever met in your entire life. My job is to coach, coach's job is to coach, your daughter's job is to play. Your job is to support. And as a coach, you've seen the situations where a parent has approached a coach after a game, and it's not pretty, it's not fun, it does nothing positive for the team. So let the coach cool down, let the parent cool down, let the player cool down. I have a 24-hour policy, and we'll talk about that on the next page here. All right. There's a 24-hour rule. The athlete must speak to the coach first. Then if there's still an issue, the player and parent may be asked to meet the coaching staff by appointment. Drama and negative comment about other players or coaches will simply not be allowed. Please refrain from negative comments on social networks. This is a matter of character. You've seen it all, tweeting about another player on your team, tweeting about your coach. I'm not a big Twitter person, so the kids make fun of me like, is it tweeting, is it Twitter, what is it, you know? But basically, all our communication should be positive. There should be nothing negative. Even if it's questionable, it will not be tolerated. And I think that just shows your character on where your mind's at on your team as well. And then I talk about the Matthew 18 principle here. If your brother sins against you, go tell him it's your fault, between him and you alone. If he listens to you, then you gain your brother. If he does not, take 2 or 3 along with you, and basically you've established the evidence of 2 or 3 witnesses. And so that's a big thing to me is I want the kids to come and speak to me. I want them to learn respect for themselves and for their coaches. And so if a kid has a problem, can I use you for example? Yeah. Come talk to me. I am pretty open to talking to unless I'm like running around and not doing something. Come and talk to me. We can solve a lot of problems by just simple communication. A lot of things get stretched out, hearsay. You know how it goes, one thing to another. And if a kid can come talk to us, a lot of time we can squash that problem really quick instead of letting it boil and fester, making more problems. The importance of education, basically, we will go by the HAR-BER standards for the policy of school, but it's really important that you get education. That's the most important thing before volleyball. The importance of respect, the athlete will have respect for their teammates, coaches, opponents, and officials. In order to get respect, you must give it. You're representing HAR-BER and the HAR-BER volleyball team. The athlete must learn to be coachable, take constructive criticism from coaches and teammates, and establish a degree of self-respect for himself or herself. And I kind of go into bus respect, bench respect, travel respect, and all those kinds of things. But I think it's really important that even if you're not playing, let's say you're on the JV team and you're sitting on the varsity bench, your job is just as important. I see, if you're not going in the game, your job can be super important. Hey, that ball, line's open, hit line, talking to our outside hitters. Your job is just as important. You're learning the game, you're growing in the game as well. And then if you go to the court respect down there at the bottom 5, it's a privilege to be on a team. It's not a right. Remember, everyone sees your actions. Disrespectful behavior will not be tolerated. Treat officials, players, and coaches with the utmost respect. We will, when someone's hurt, we will shake their hands, we will help them out. I'm a big prayer. I pray after games, we'll pray in the locker room. That's just who I am. And then that's something I think that when we close out on a game, that's something to be thankful for. The importance of avoiding destructive behavior. Taking part of substances, inappropriate activities, but we don't have to go into detail with that, parents. And harmful actions that hinder athletes' performances that are not beneficial to the body or the team. We have a common goal, and it's to not let anyone come in our way. So those kinds of things always cause problems. I've played on teams before where we've had people who have done those things, and nothing positive usually comes on the team. The importance of focus. The athlete will come to all volleyball activities focused mentally and prepared to make themselves and the team better. We are setting goals, and it is very beneficial to allow your team to improve with each opportunity. Cell phones will not be allowed during the gym. No cell phone before each match starts to better help the athlete prepare. Please refer to the social media point. And that, again, goes to everything's going to be positive, nothing negative to the team. I am not a big, I text sometimes, but like I am not like a group, like I didn't know what grouping was till the other day, like I'm a little behind on the technology stuff, but I think one thing that's really important is that when a kid gets ready to go play a game, they're not worried about their boyfriend or their friends being mad at them, they're focused for the game. They get to be a kid and play volleyball only 4 years of your life. The importance of attitude. All athletes are expected to step on the court with intensity every day. Give 100%. Do whatever it takes. Your attitude reflects on how you play. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, don't whine, don't complain, don't make excuses. These seem simple, but avoiding them will make our team successful. You and only you are responsible for how people perceive you. Are you seen as a motivator? Or are you seen as a discourager? We do not want discouragers on our team. We are here to grow and learn. We want to encourage each other along the way. And then the very bottom part here, the coaching staff reserves the right to handle all situations using fair and necessary discipline as we see fit. We will treat each other with equality and respect. And that's just a little bit about how I run my program. Those are my rules. On the very next page, there is a player-parent contract. And I'm sorry, for some reason my old copy did something weird. I would like for you to please bring these by Wednesday. So if you don't have Wednesday, some of them got Wednesday and some of them didn't. But basically, your parents need to sign this, and the player needs to sign this. There is a form up here where you can stick them in if you have signed them tonight and you agree with this. If you do not bring them by Wednesday, then you will not be able to practice until I know that you've agreed to these circumstances and these expectations. You can rip that last page off, and then the next to last page, it's just a HAR-BER volleyball info. And I don't know all the parents, I don't know who belongs to who yet, I'm still learning faces. And so if you would just, I know I've been emailing, but some of you aren't getting my emails and things like that. So what I would like to do, I want to make sure I get that checked tonight. So these last 2 pages you can rip off there, and when you leave tonight, you can put them in there. Okay, that was a hard step. Let's keep moving. Okay, calendars and schedules. You should have a January and February calendar in your packet. This is basically, I only do 2 months at a time because we do have a lot of changes that occur. You guys know that. You guys are very busy. You have a lot going on in your lives. Things that will change in April and March, we will do tutoring, and we will also be helping with elementary and middle school practices. Our plan is, Mondays and Wednesdays are our conditioning days. Tuesdays and Thursdays are our on-court days. Especially right now through January and February, I'm going to be teaching fundamental skills that I expect everyone to know. Defenses, offenses, serve, receive, blocking. So that's what we're doing on court through February and January. Then February 1st, don't forget the free physicals. And then I have a few that do not have up-to-date physicals. And so I will be contacting you like tonight or first thing tomorrow. You cannot practice if you didn't have an up-to-date physical. And then just putting on this a little bit later, March 27th, the 28th, and 31st, we'll be conducting our tryouts. And that will be helping me place you on teams. Is it after, it should be after, is it after spring break?
That is spring break.
It's the weekend.
That's the
Is it spring break? I'm sorry. Okay, it'll be the week after, I'm sorry, I will change that. I may have looked at the wrong calendar, okay. Sorry about that. Okay, it'll be the next week, sorry. But we will do the week after spring break on that Thursday, Friday, and that Monday. Just a little bit about that. Camp payments. What I'll be doing the very beginning of March, beginning of around there, I'll be sending you camp information, so you'll be able to know what teams are going on. But camp information will be due April 14th. That's why I can get us onto our team camps, into all of our individual camps as well that we go to. Shoes and equipment thing will be done in April, so I'm just giving you a heads up on things. I'm not throwing everything at you today, you have to do everything, but just giving you a heads up. May and June we will be, I give you off May and June. June, I try to say that's, family time, we're getting out of school. This year we're going a little bit longer. So May and June is your off time. That's your time that you will be practicing. The only thing that we will have is a fundraiser at the end of May. So at that time, if you want to go to individual camps, I will give the girls, I always give kids a workout during June. They're like, hey, can I do something? I'll give you some workouts to do, but nothing will be mandatory. That's completely time for family, to be a kid, to have a summer. And so if you have family trips, it's best to plan usually during that time. I know that doesn't always work for everybody, but I am trying to get to you now so you know. July camps and practices, we will start July 7th with our official, I consider them official practices, and then we will go until our first game. And that usually gives us about 8 weeks. We will help with some of the junior high camps during that time. Some days we will have team camps, and of course I will give you all that information about March. So are there any questions on calendars and schedules there? I will check on the date for tryouts. I don't know if I probably missed that up, but I will check on that. Okay? I gave you I went ahead and put in there it's not official schedule for next year. And the reason I did this is I just kind of wanted to give you a heads up. I know for me, it's good to plan kind of according to know when you will practice and when you won't. So just kind of a heads up there. It's not an official schedule, and I will send you out an official schedule when we all get everything approved. But I thought it's good to know exactly who we're playing for next year. I like to scout, I like to see what's going on, and so I like to see things ahead of time. So there's a schedule pretty much set for next year. Last year I know that the varsity had the McDonald's tournament, which it was our homecoming, and so I'm working on that right now to get that all fixed. And so, most likely, if I can, most likely we probably will not go to that tournament. So I'm trying to work things. I don't like to do tournaments late in October just because physical factor of being exhausted by the end of season and preparation for state. At that time, practices are a little different than they are at the beginning of the season. So that's kind of a little bit about that. Okay, Booster Club, I know you all are like, oh, this is something crazy and something new we've been talking about a lot. We will have a Booster Club meeting. I'm not going to throw it all on you tonight, but we will have a Booster Club meeting on February 3rd here in the seminar room at 7 p.m. So if you are interested in being a part of the Booster Club, that is at 7 p.m. on February 3rd. Am I talking too fast? Okay, I'm a speedy kind of person, so I'm looking, and I will be talking to each one of you in some position-wise, but something different is I'm going to have a representative, and I'm going to explain what they're going to do here in just a minute, besides the president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. We will do dues to Booster Club, and that's just part of helping raise money. Sponsoring we'll talk about I'll send out information about being a sponsor for our team. Fundraising, of course, I said I try not to do a bunch of little fundraisers. I try to do one fundraiser, let's make it happen, let's get it done, let's not have to worry about it. So we will do a co-ed volleyball tournament. I've done this in the past. I did it at Shiloh when I was there. My sister does it. My sister's also a volleyball coach, and she does it in Springdale. And the thing that Coach and I loved about this, we're going to get the whole HAR-BER student body to be part of it. And that's something that's really cool. It builds team and school unity. And I love to do things like that. You'll see, I love to go to basketball games, and I'll be at football games, and I want my girls to do that as well. And I want them to be at our games. You know, we are good. We're going to be really good for next year. We need those student bodies to be a part of our games. And so this is a good way so people can learn about the game of volleyball, not be super structured like a real game, but they actually learn. In the past, I've done like teams with the best dressed get an award. And it's been really cool. Like you might have a team, of fruit one year, like a banana and an apple and an orange, and they play all day. And so it's also just a really fun day. And usually how I do it is I do it on a Friday after school. So we don't spend a Saturday, you get your family time. We do it till about 9 o'clock at night. It's really fun. It's a cool thing to do after school. And we'll talk about that, like I said, further on as we go on. Here's kind of, I know Booster Club stuff can be kind of interesting. My dad was a Booster Club president for 20 years at the high school that I went to. And so luckily I had really great help from there. And I want to make sure that I do things the right way and how we handle our items. So I've kind of put a little detailed list here together of things that are needing to be purchased that I'm hoping to raise through our Booster Club. So you guys can go ahead and see it, have a visual plan of kind of what's going on. Of course, concession stand food, that's going to vary. You know how that goes. We'll stock up, we'll run out of one thing, have 100 things. But that's kind of an idea. Usually you stock up, and depending on how much you spend on your stocking up. I did put a price on there. We will do new varsity and JV uniforms for next year. And that's going to cost $2,500, partially because there's several reasons, but I think it's very important to have a home and away uniform. I don't like the switching of libero and trying to find that scares me because it always happens when you don't have the right uniform, and if you're a libero, you understand the stress of that. So I think it's really nice also that we are in a 7A and we look the part. We're going to act the part, but also to look the part. Team warm-ups, I think it's really nice when we travel to have a nice team warm-up, a jacket and a pant. And that's something that I would like to work about. And then team shirts. I used to do 3 team shirts. They're travel shirts that you have. Today we're wearing our white shirt. Tomorrow we're going to wear our navy and Carolina shirt, whatever it may be. But that's nice to have, so you represent a team and we all are in one accord. We talk about that a lot. I think it's just really important so you act the part as well as you play the part. And I know as girls, they always like to look nice as well when they go play games. And so when we travel, we want to make sure that we are doing it the right way. Yeah, good, sorry. All right, representative. Now this might be one person, this may be two people, but I kind of want to get some brainstorming going on right now. One thing that stresses me out as a coach, and I know it does coach here, and I'm sure it's stressed you guys out as coaches, is getting people to help you at the volleyball games. It is usually one of those things that you got to get line judges, you have to have table workers, concession stand workers, and you know how the list goes on. I'm sure all of you have helped in many ways before. But what's really, really, really important to help the coaching staff and to help our program run smoothly is to be in one accord with that. So I'm looking for one person or people to help with this representative job. And that is for each game I have a table worker. I know there's a few of you here that like to do the book. That's great, and that makes me very happy because it's hard to find a good book person. I know there are some dads that love to line judge. There's always a few. My dad got dragged, yeah, there's always someone who does that. My dad would get dragged out there year after year after year, and eventually, you know, if you're a dad, you become a volleyball dad. We all had girls in our family. My dad became a volleyball dad. And so a part of that, that's just one of the things that really takes a lot of stress off the coaches. And I know that sounds silly, a line judge, a scorekeeper. Trust me, that is a big stress to have someone help me do that. And that we look like we know what we're doing. I think that's really important. And then concession stands, this is really important, and I know that this is sometimes a touchy subject. We all have, I know everyone has 100 things going on, but I expect each family to be responsible to work at least one concession stand at a game, and then also sign up, co-help with a team dinner and a spirit event, and I'll talk about that. Even if you're not a part of the booster club. And why I do that is I think it's so important that everyone has ownership in what we do. And when we do, you have maybe your daughter plays varsity. Sorry, can you go back, sorry.
Yeah.
Just push back on the keyboard, there you go. One thing I think is so important is we will make sure you can see your daughter play. We will do our very best to make sure you're at your daughter's game. But I think it's really nice to have the parents help. It's great for the booster club, and a lot of you are just really good helpers, and so that's just a nice thing to have. And then the team dinners and spirit. Let's talk about that for a second. In the past, I know sometimes being a girl in volleyball, we want to be excited about your game, right? Like it's a big deal. When we play Fayetteville, it's a big deal. When we play Northside, it's a big game. So what I'd like for us to do this year is implement spirit. Spirit, leaders, spirit. You can call yourselves whatever you want, but I say team dinner / spirit. And basically what you do is you may bring balloons to the locker room. You may bake cookies for the team. You may bring a goodie bag for the team. You may make a banner. You may, and if you're not creative like me, I completely understand that. We'll put you with somebody who can help you. Usually we have 2 or 3 parents do this together. And this just is a fun thing to do for the girls. It's exciting to look forward to having a little something before the game. Maybe it's just a good luck little memo card, you know, and it's something that's a little wish or something. But whatever it may be, those things are really nice to have. It's encouraging for the game. I want the girls to feel like they are a 7A volleyball program. They're going to be a 7A powerhouse. We're going to start acting like it. And then basically, that kind of just goes on the, and then the team dinners. I think it's great that you support a game. I think it's super, it brings teams together, brings team camaraderie. One thing, though, I'm a stickler with how we eat. And I've talked to the girls, especially when they're working out right now, how they take care of their bodies. Eating healthy before games. I will give you a parent list of things that I would like for you to have before games. Not that I don't care that they eat pizza or whatever it may be, but after the game. I want them to be prepared physically, mentally, before the game with whatever we can do to prepare for that and help them is a big deal, I think. Sorry, thank you. And then extra items, just a few things that are kind of miscellaneous here. Each player will be responsible for shoes, knee pads, socks, and spandex. We talked about the spandex with the girls. I know in the past that's been something that's been bought. I personally think sharing spandex is strange. This is my personal preference. It's like sharing underwear. And so I just think that by purchasing your own spandex is something that needs to be done for cleanliness as well. And I will make sure that we will help in any way possible. But a lot of girls like to keep their spandex as well. And so we will discuss that and how we will purchase that. Shoes, we'll talk about that, knee pads, and socks and spandex. I like for our teams to match. That's something that's kind of important to me. I'm not asking you to spend an arm and a leg to pay for all your stuff. We will make sure that it's very affordable for all families. But I do think it's important not to share experience. We'll do fittings in April, and then one thing that we're needing right now is after they get done working out in the mornings, sometimes, you know how it is being a high school girl, you may forget to bring your water, or you may forget to bring a snack. And so if anyone would like to ever donate bottles of water, a case of water, or granola bars, cheese and crackers, fruit, whatever it may be, something healthy that they could, grab before they go to class, that's a big help. I know I have migraines really bad, and you know I have a migraine, but if I don't eat, it's when I'm usually going to get a migraine. And so especially after they've worked really hard in the morning, sometimes you remember your lunch, sometimes you don't. And so that's just a really important thing I think to have. If you can help in that way, great, and if you can't, it's not a problem either. Contacts and communication. Right now, I do not have a Shiloh email yet, so I'm using my husband and our home account. So if you see Shira Jordan, it says Jordan Schischler, that's my husband. It's not some random other name Shira besides Shira. But basically, make sure that I have your up-to-date tonight, emails, phone numbers, so I can communicate to you. I am a big communicator. I will send you out a weekly email every week. I will send you out calendars. I will make sure that you have what you need. And if I make a mistake, let me know. I am totally okay with it. I make mistakes all the time. So my job is, hey, these are at HAR-BER instead of Central, like physicals. Something new I didn't know. Physicals are at Central. Everyone, physicals are at Central. I didn't know that. So you may have to say, hey, this is how I know this or whatever. Help me out on that, and so I can help make a change quick. And then please encourage positive communication. I say that over and over again. I am not okay with you talking bad about our program, as parents, as kids, as coaches. One thing that's really important that Coach and I have talked about, we may not, like I said, we may not like what we do, but we are on one accord. We're not going to be telling other schools what we're doing. We are HAR-BER Volleyball. We are different, we are new. We're going to be a powerhouse in the 7A. There's no doubt in my mind. The athletes are here, we put the discipline and the hard work together. I have no worries about that. If you do those things, you're successful. That's just how it is. And so that's the positive communication is really great. You may not like what I do. You may not like how I coach. I'm sorry. I'm going to do my very best to help the team, and your daughter is a part of the team. And then there, of course, there's my email, ShiraJordan@gmail. When I get my new Springdale account, I'll send that to you. So if you ever get a random email, hopefully my husband will never reply back, but he's very shy. But if he did, sorry. He'd be like, who are you, or what is this? But usually he doesn't check that too much. So. And then thank you for being part of HAR-BER Volleyball. It's a blessing to be here. I didn't get to talk a little about myself a whole lot at the front, at the beginning, but one thing is being here at HAR-BER has been a life change for me. This is a big deal to me. I take this very seriously. I take volleyball very seriously, and I take coaching and teaching very seriously. I know you probably think I sound like a witch after you probably talked about all this stuff tonight, but I think when you put discipline in place, success will follow. And these girls are very talented. We talked about this today, we were doing hitting lines, and I'm like, holy moly, like I'm sitting over here like a dog salivating. I'm so excited, just to see what success we can possibly have. It's putting it all together. That's my job, it's putting it all together. Please, 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 help support Coach and I. Help support us. You may not like what I do, like I said. Please speak to us, have your daughter speak to me first, do what I asked in the communication and the problem solving. If we can do those things, we're going to be very successful. I don't want to be the drama school. I don't want to be the team that people say, oh, we're playing HAR-BER. I want to be, oh my goodness, we're playing HAR-BER. That's the team we should be. That's how I live my life, that's how I want our program to be. I want that for your girls because they want it. They want it. I've seen more enthusiasm in 5 days than I've seen in any girls I've ever coached. And I've not coached for 100 years, but I've coached a lot of club. I have coached a few years of high school. I know what it takes to be successful, and these girls want it. And so if we can stay together and do the positive things and control things that we can control, we'll do really well. So having this time, real quickly, I know I'm almost at the 45-minute mark. Any questions? Please ask now, and you may have one that you may have forgot. I will do my very best to answer. I'm here to meet you guys. Yes?
Did you get the busing figured out?
Yes, we did get the busing thing figured out. We are working right now on possibly being a change to having the volleyball girls at Central and Southwest that have first period volleyball. Dr. Brackett's working on that right now. It may not be a thing that happens right now. I was hoping it would, but We have a bus now in place that's going to leave a little bit earlier than we want, but we have it in place because that's all we have right now. So, yes, I'm very sorry about that. This morning we had to ship away. So, trying to learn. Any other questions? No one has any questions?
Just a comment.
Yes.
Rusty Freisinger is the best line coach.
It's okay. Well, I do know that being a part of HAR-BER is a big deal, and I hope that you guys are as motivated as I am and as excited as I am. I have not got to meet all of you, and I hope that I can introduce myself and at least speak to you, maybe not tonight, but in the future. Like I said, February 3rd, we're having a booster club meeting. I'll kind of lay everything out there. I don't want to just throw so much like I've already thrown on you guys tonight. Like I said, my job, I'm not perfect. I make a lot of mistakes. I already saw a typo that I made there. I'm so sorry. I spend a lot of time on this, and sometimes I make mistakes. And sometimes I gotta eat it too. But my job, like I said, as a coach, is I want you to know and trust that my best interest is to take care of your daughter. My best interest is to take care of your daughter. I don't have kids for a reason right now. And we were talking about this earlier. It's very hard to have kids and coach. Coach Kelly does a great job at it. I don't know how she does it. I'm amazed by her every day. My husband and I can really keep it going as a married couple and keep it making where we need to be at on time. And so that's why we don't have kids right now. And so my focus right now is your daughter. And it's always going to be that way. And I love what I do. I love what I get to do here. I have been so blessed in the last month just being a part of HAR-BER, the staff, the girls, coaches. It's unlike anything I've ever experienced. And I feel like I've been a pretty blessed person in my life, and this is just a special experience for me. Like I said, we're going to play other schools in 7A that are tough and they have tradition. My goal is to create the tradition here at HAR-BER. And for people, when we walk in Fayetteville, they're like, we're playing HAR-BER tonight, we better be ready. They have a do-or-die attitude. I always say, you're going to die, you're going to go through the wall. Those are the kind of players that I want. Those are the kind of players that will win us a state championship. And that's what I'm trying to instill in your daughter right now. They have it, they want it, and as I said, I put pieces together, that's my job. So thank you all for coming tonight. I know I talked really fast. I apologize. Hopefully you got that some of